Hey everybody, welcome to Connecting Cannabis, brought to you by Wrazel. I'm your host, Brian Holler. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. Today, our guest is Trent Overholt, CEO of 14th Round, a wonderful design firm. They are going to talk to us, or Trent's here to talk to us about his passion for cannabis, what 14th Round does, how they help cannabis companies, and it's going to be a very exciting conversation, and we're very excited to have him here. But first, of course, a word from our sponsor. Apricot Analytics is a full-service product quality lab for cannabis testing and CBD and hemp testing. They have over a decade of analytical lab experience and have been working with cannabis products since 2005. Apricot Analytics understands the needs of cannabis and hemp producers because they were producers themselves. They know the challenges, the frustrations, and the dreams of cultivators and manufacturers. They get it because they've been there, and they're here to help. Apricot Analytics tests your products for the good stuff, like THC and CBD concentrations, and helps you identify any of the bad stuff, like pesticides, mold, bacteria, and heavy metals. For more information, go to apricotanalytics.com, or to learn more about their current investment opportunity, go to the Wrazel Investment Marketplace at wrazel.com. All right, we're back. Trent, how are you, sir? Nice to see you today.
Doing well. Thanks for having me, Brian.
My pleasure. Let's just hop right on into it. For people who aren't aware, what is 14th Round?
So 14th Round is a design and technology company building the best brands in cannabis. We provide an end-to-end solution for cannabis operators that are looking to build powerful brands or throw jet fuel on something, on a brand or a product that has started to gain some traction, and they want to bring it on up into the top 10 and the more prominent performers in the category.
That makes sense. So obviously, your clients are, cannabis brands, cannabis companies that, are looking to either ramp up or basically take it to that next level with regards to awareness, packaging. What other different kinds of, what aspects of design does your firm focus on for companies?
Yeah, so we do extensive custom work. So the way that came to be, there wasn't a lot of that in the cannabis space, and really
Right.
we first jumped into the vaporizer category specifically. Everybody was in an undifferentiated 510 cartridge. I mean, really down to the same diameter, same mouthpiece, same. Everybody looked the same, and myself and the two founders, we were looking at this saying, hey, we've got to eventually this is going to look like other consumer packaged goods.
Right.
And you're going to need to differentiate yourself both in the consumable, the way that it feels, but also the other key brand attributes that drive customer adoption, that drive customer loyalty, that ultimately those are the brands that scale and win. If you're doing a little bit of business with a whole lot of companies, our model doesn't work.
Right.
We need somebody that's well capitalized, good management team, really understands their segmentations, and will help them turn a product idea or a brand premise into a full catalog of a full offering of the categories where they want to play, and also the geographies that they want to play. We do a lot of de facto consulting on regulatory compliance.
Yep.
Because we know what Oregon expects that's different than what California expects, that's different than what the Ontario province, for example, expects.
Right.
Like Toronto's a key metro area for us.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. And having a design firm like yours that's very knowledgeable about such things is going to be very key for a brand that's at that level to get to you. And I think you made a good designation there, Trent. So you guys aren't for, say, the people just starting out necessarily, because folks need to grow up to a point to where they would warrant a firm like yours.
Probably. I mean, if it was if you had an operating team that had some experience, seen some highs and lows and regulatory change and everything that the rest of us have experienced the last 5 years,
Sure. Yep.
And they were well funded, well, we could work with them from the outset.
Yep.
But if it's kind of a regional campaign or a limited production capacity, something like that, it's probably not going to be a very good fit, just because we have so much upfront design and development work. And I really emphasize the engineering piece. On the vaporizer side, it's a little more obvious.
Sure.
If somebody's doing a distillate pen, the way we plumb and engineer, meaning like fluid flow, plumbing, right? The way that we tune and engineer that device is specifically tuned to their oil. If you go the other end of a spectrum, like a high terp full spectrum extract,
Okay.
it's actually not very viscous, and it has the terpenes have a lot of volatility. They want to build internal pressure inside, so we'll engineer that device very differently.
Right.
And once it's tuned for optimal performance, right, it tastes great, good vapor production, all the performance attributes, then we'll go through a full second pass and we'll make it look funky. We'll make it look different.
Sure.
We don't want to look like everybody else, because if you associate a great experience with a form factor, a look, a brand ethos that speaks to you and is easily recognizable from across the room,
Yep.
we know you got a winner. That's at least a top 15 brand in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think some of what you're saying is so important for, owners to kind of key in on. It does matter. There's a psychological component to it. There's a very practical component to it. And then there's kind of the marketing, aspect of it. Right. And it really all does work together. I've sort of gathering what separates 14th round from other places, but if you'd care to elaborate, I'm sure our audience would love to hear more about, you're already kind of distinguishing the fact that it does already, but what in your words separates yourself out from other contemporaries?
It's really, we're a great fit for that company that's looking to execute on brand plays. And we literally have that end-to-end solution. Well, we'll fill in any gaps of the brand book.
Yep.
Big design team. The actual form factor hardware itself, fully engineered, then fully designed. Any intellectual property considerations, we will take those and manage those on behalf of the client. The manufacturing network, certain things are made in certain places, but they all need to arrive on time to somebody's licensed fill facility. Mm-hmm. Right? So they can do their value add step, bring it into distribution, bring it into retail, get it on through. And we manage all that, the logistics, the supply chain. We spend a lot of time talking about the design and product development because it's sexy and it's cool and it's fun, right?
Sure.
That's all of us are passionate about.
Well, the creative part is fun,
right.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure that's on the list of why I do this. That's why I do it. I love that first creation of thinking of it, and then that second creation of actually doing it, which is a big leap. And to do that 1-2 punch over and over with the best companies in the cannabis industry, that's what drives us. That's what's cool about it. So in terms of, nobody else has really packaged up that suite of services.
Yeah.
And then there's other considerations that the capital market guys tend to appreciate, and instead of piecemealing all these different fees for professional services, design, a brand team, a marketing team, we do that and we capture it in the COGS. Because with 280E, none of this is deductible. Right. But if you amortize it into the per unit price and you have that relationship with the client where they're buying that really customized, just for you product, we don't sell the same thing to two different people.
Yep.
So they're all custom. And we just need the volume behind it to make it work.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then you have to have people who are in a position to, facilitate that volume, which you're right. It could be a well buttoned up startup could do that.
For sure. If they're well capitalized and they got a management team that's, not their first rodeo. They've done this before. They know what they're doing. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not unlike us, which is probably why, we can make good partners for one another. But ultimately, Wrazel, same kind of thing. I mean, just because we could help you doesn't mean that we should. And then on top of that, doesn't matter where you are in your capital raise, whether you are asking for 100 million or $1 million, as long as you're buttoned up and you have a lot of this knowledge of what you need to really appeal to investors, or you'll work with us to allow us to help you. Right. And part of that might be offering up a 14th round as a suggestion, because maybe you have all these different pieces all over everywhere. You want to kind of get yourself buttoned up and a core good team with lots of experience behind that. Can you speak a little bit to that experience that your team has?
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I kind of missed, but I'll pivot into it based on this question too, as it relates to capabilities and that experience too. We had been working in a de facto partnership with a really good packaging company in Pleasanton, California called Unica. Okay. And we recently completed the acquisition of Unica. So now they're just an integral part of our team.
Oh, that's great.
And instead of, contracting that out, or their design capabilities, their project management team, culturally, it was a great fit.
Great.
We immediately hit it off with the two owner founders, and the teams work well together. And it really broadened our capabilities. The other thing too, when you think of packaging, it's, you think of like a visually arresting box on a shelf, but there's a lot of functional attributes to it, right? It has several roles. It has to protect what's inside it. It has the other things, but in the cannabis channel, in the legal channel, it also needs to be child resistant. There's a couple different certifications. It needs to have met them. There's often intellectual property, and similar to us, they had an aggressive IP strategy. So that was a great fit. And it really helped us move into some of these other categories where the hardware isn't a vaporizer, right? We'll do a clever edibles dispenser that fits in your pocket and has a ergonomic profile, kind of similar to my mouse. It just, it feels good. It has tactile attributes that are appealing, and it really rounded out our overall capabilities in something that we had been outsourcing to a degree. We would design it, and we would work with structural engineers, packaging engineers. We now have all that in-house. So that really rounded out everything we were doing, and broadened our offering on the child-resistant packaging, which is key.
And then, yes, and of course, you getting that company to basically be rolled in brings even more of a wealth of experience that you, in addition to what you guys already had.
Yep.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Medicus LP was created after their team discovered that very few avenues existed for investment in professionally managed public equity funds. As a result, they created a long biased limited partnership, Medicus, for accredited individuals and organizations that will invest in public exchange-traded companies in the cannabis space. Investor net asset values are calculated on a monthly basis by their administrator, Klein Fund Services, and audited annually by Spicer Jeffries. This provides full transparency for investors. Their prime broker is BTIG and custodian is Pershing. Medicus started investing in January 2020. To learn more about Medicus, please visit their website at medicuslp.com. And for more information about their current investment opportunity, please visit the Wrazel investment marketplace at wrazel.com.
What's on next on the horizon, or what are you building out towards in the future, in the near future?
Yeah, it's we're going to execute on this plan. This top 10 strategy works, right? Where we're building those brands. Categorically, we've broadened. I really like edibles, and with the unique acquisition, like I said, mechanical dispensers, clever packagings. We can bring a lot of innovation to that category, the same way we did to the vaporizer category. Right before Dosist and all these funky form factors we did. I don't know if you've seen the 710 Labs product. We just launched something new with Alvin Exhibit for Napalm, and just a lot of really cool, innovative stuff. And we're going to do the same thing for some of these other categories, working with the top players in edibles. So we'll continue to execute on that. We're planning to go public later this year. Yep, probably Q4.
So there you go.
A lot of that we'll do a small raise associated with that, where we can expand our operational capabilities, things like manufacturing operations. We're going to move some things domestically that currently aren't. Expand other work cells that are going well for us, clean room environments, and really make sure that we have tight control of that whole supply chain. It's important for us because so much of what we do becomes a product touching, think like the inside of a reservoir.
Right.
That then needs to pass compliance. So all of our material inputs need to be top notch, medical grade, all the right materials, fully documented. And this allows us to make another leap forward in terms of capabilities on the operation side.
Certainly. That makes a lot of sense. Congrats. I mean, that's a very, very good momentum. That's a lot of great opportunity down the pipe. I hear a lot about edibles kind of being the next kind of phase, next aspect of cannabis to really evolve in a significant way. So sounds like, as usual, you guys are right on the cusp of it and right on the ball in terms of working with companies to be more innovative in that space, which is very, very cool.
Absolutely. And we do a little work in flower, and we love brands that are grounded in a really strong flower offering, right? That's where it starts, right? There's the plant. The brand plays tend to index around products that are ready to consume. And it's
Right.
important distinction, right? So vaporizers, edibles, like there's no preparation, there's no rolling a joint. Like many of us enjoy that ritual, but in
Sure.
terms of like really driving scale and making cannabis feel more accessible to more segments,
Right.
which is key to the industry growth, we do put more attention on the ready to consume products. So yes, edibles, vaporizers, definitely. We've got a lot of clever pre-roll dispenser type things. Again, just another great ready to consume product where the form factor matters, right? A slick carrying case with integrated child resistant locking, right? It's intuitive to adults, but not children.
Absolutely.
And checking all those boxes and bringing it into a full brand suite offering. That's what we do.
Yep. And that's really good for to hear. In fact, what I wanted to ask you to kind of to start heading towards wrapping up is obviously you've worked with a lot of cannabis clients.
Mhm.
You continue to, and you will continue to, especially in this space. I think people often make certain mistakes when they're kind of getting themselves prepared in this fashion, or maybe they don't call a 14th round before they're supposed to, or when they're supposed to. What are you seeing in terms of maybe some common threads of, I don't know if I'll call them mistakes or just hiccups, maybe that the clients make as once you get under the hood, once you see like a tip that you can give the audience to kind of get yourself headed in a good direction?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times a company will come to us and maybe they've got a product idea, but they haven't really thought of it in the context of building a brand.
Sure.
So as kind of a table setting, I'll make that statement, but specifically the thing that we encourage them to spend a little more time on, a common mistake,
Right.
is just not spending enough time on segmentation. Who are your target consumers? What specifically are you doing to speak to them? Right, because they all have great efficacy,
Of course.
which is not always the case. Right, there's a
Right.
lot of consumer products, the beauty aisle, the beverage aisle. Like, just go down the list. Like, I guess, yeah, even in beverage, they don't all score the same on hydration. Right, that seems
That's
kind
right.
of fundamental.
Sure.
Whereas
Yeah.
in cannabis, they all have pretty good efficacy. Everything in the legal channel is spankety clean, right?
Yep.
It's held to an incredibly high standard. So yeah, you'll get some other people that are a pleasant surprise, but who's your segment that you're speaking most directly to? Right.
That's right.
And really thinking through that and then going back through the functional choices, the aesthetic choices, the revenue management, right? Product
Yep.
place, price, promotion, going through all of those choices with that segmentation in mind, kind of
Yep.
an additional pass, depending on how many, third, fourth pass through that.
Sure.
That is an incredibly valuable exercise to kind of slow down, take a little more time right now to dramatically speed up your results later.
That's a great one. And one we run into too, as well, people, really mean well. But if you're like, oh, what's your, segment, or what's your, strongest segment, right? Cannabis users. Well, that's not going to cut it.
Right.
It needs to be a little bit more than that, right? Female cannabis users that make this much money, that live
Yep.
in these areas, or that do these things. Exactly. So, those are just things that I think get lost in the shuffle sometimes because of all the work you have to do as an owner, to get yourself going. But again, one of the themes of this show, especially since over the last few months, is make sure you're looking under your hood.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're taking care of everything you possibly can so that you can be that valuable partner, find that valuable client.
Yeah.
Be prepared to your thing. So Trent, I very much appreciate you being with me today. Before we get out of here, let's make sure everybody out there knows where they can find you in 14th Round.
Yeah, I would definitely point people to our website. It's 14th Round with no vowels, 14thrnd.com. Check us out there, and you'll see a lot more information on us and around us as we move forward towards that public listing. And
That's right.
we'll continue to keep everyone updated. We'll have a press page. You can see the product offering. And again, I'd love to have you into the office here in Los Angeles, our product showroom, our 3D printing capabilities, print production equipment. Would love to have you here to see it in person.
Oh, I would love that, Trent. I look forward to that. I'll be in touch, and we'll try to set that up as soon as we can. I think that'd be fantastic. Any last words for everybody before we take off?
No, I think it's a great time in the industry. in 2019, we certainly had the same sort of regulatory gyrations, challenges, and the industry still grew over 46%.
That's right.
And every single month of 2020, which has been a really challenging year already, but every
Yep.
single month has been bigger than that year that grew 46% year over year.
Yes.
So it's proven to be a very strong, very resilient industry, creating a lot of opportunity. It was deemed essential as it related to the coronavirus and
Yep.
the adjustments we all had to make for that, which was a big stamp of legitimacy for an industry that is still emerging from prohibition.
Yeah, that was a
And
big
as
deal.
challenging as it's been, it's an exciting time to be involved and to be out front as we grow and develop this industry.
Absolutely. And thank you for being part of it and being part of us today on Connecting Cannabis as part of the Wrazel Cannabis Broadcasting Network and, of course, Wrazel. So, Trent, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to doing it again soon. Have a great day.
Thanks, Brian. See ya.
Take care.